I'm going to talk about and just give a couple of examples of the Facebook and social media evidence that we were talking about. There was a lot of it. This case is built on a lot of Facebook and social media evidence, and so I'm not going to be able to summarize all of that in short 3-minute video clips. But there was, and I'm going to try to point out a couple of particular examples. And I don't have the images here because you can't take any images in the courtroom, but one in particular that there was a lot of argument about included a meme. Okay, so this was a meme, and it included what might have appeared to be a soldier. He had on kind of fatigues, if you will. He had an assault rifle of some kind. He had on sunglasses. He had on a black beanie. He was kind of characteristic looking of someone who might be involved in the military or whatever, the militia or whatever the case may be. And he was kneeling down, kind of with his head bowed per se. And what the meme said was, Father, forgive me, for I will sin. It said, Father, forgive me at the top, had the picture, and it said, for I will sin at the bottom. And above that, there was this little note that said, but they drew first blood. And so that was one of those memes, and that was one of those Facebook posts that drew a lot of argument. That was just one example. There are a number of other examples, too, that they argued about before they determined whether or not they would even be admissible. One of these, for example, this was one from David Fry's Facebook account, which appeared, from my perspective, to be pretty benign and innocuous. These were just simple posts. The occupation had occurred, but he hadn't joined it. He hadn't traveled from Ohio yet. It said, Mindy, we might be murdered, is what he said. I don't know what he meant by that, but someone came back and said that they would be protected, and he said, protection from the government, LMAO, in other words, laugh my ass off. He didn't believe that that was going to happen. But that's the kind of social media evidence that was being presented, among other things, just to give some idea of what those comments included. And there was a lot of, here's another one that said, from David Fry, the mainstream media is labeling these guys as terrorists. That's bullshit. That's what his Facebook post said. So that should give some idea of a variety of the various kinds of things that was being presented in terms of the Facebook evidence.